Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jim Moran, and today we're going to try to figure out when the world is Rise of Industry. Thank you to the publisher or the developer, whoever was kind enough to provide me the key for the base game and the DLC, which is named 2130. And it's a very accurate representation of what I think the future is going to look like in reality, because we are going to fuck this world up and there's not going to be a return. So yeah, it's a realistic game, one might consider. What is Rise of Industry? Rise of Industry is a video game that is going to cater and satisfy all of your industrial needs. There's a massive chain of production and transportation and refinement and all sorts of things. If you like city builders, but you would like to have a little bit more of a chain of operations control on the situation, then you're definitely going to like this game. So before we get started, let's look at the settings menu. We have a couple of options that are not going to be outlandish. They're pretty much going to be what I would say I would expect for this game to have. First of all, ultra-wide support. Thank you to the team that actually fucking bothered to support ultra-wide. So kudos for that. You have a little bit of an interface thing that you can do here, which is really nice. I like that. You have some gameplay options that are going to be very useful. I like the 30-minute autosave interval. You can switch it down to 5 minutes or never if you would like. I thought I had it on 15, but yeah, 15 is fine. Autosave slots 3. I did have this on 10. There seems to be a problem with the game actually saving your settings because skip intro is was off, and I had it as on, and it actually never bothered to save. So yeah, alright, graphics. A lot of graphics options. The game doesn't look all that pretty in the graphical fidelity sense. It's not very high-techy, it's very blocky and square, but it kind of works out for what it tries to do. For what the graphics look like, it does a good job at differentiating the different building types and everything, but there's going to be a better demonstration on the video here soon. You see what we got. We got spooky theme, we got resolution, full screen, borderless, windowed, all that good stuff. Camera particles, shadow filter. As you can see, a lot of stuff. I did have to turn on the anti-aliasing because I realized that my 2070 and the 3800X on my computer is not going to struggle to run this game at all. But depth of field is off as usual, because fuck depth of field. Vignette is always off as well. Why the fuck would anyone have this on? I don't understand. Only for photo mode, but even then, outrageous. And then let's see, we got audio, we have master volume, and separate sliders for everything, which is awesome. Good job there. Controls, not much to change in the controls, in all honesty. You got a lot of key bindings here. Even though I'm a huge fan of these types of games, RTS games, strategy games, you name it, the only keys I use are the WASD keys, and that's kind of disgusting, so we're gonna ignore that. You got credits, new game, load game, and continue. I don't understand why I hit continue. I wanted to hit load because continue is gonna put me into the DLC. I'm gonna talk about both the base game and the DLC, but for now, I want to go to the base game and kind of explain what the game has to offer, and that's what this video is going to be. I'm not going to teach you how to play this game because even though I absolutely love these games, my mind is a fucking mess. I cannot strategize for shit, and I always end up sucking in this game. So when the game begins, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be placing your headquarters in any of these areas. Now make sure that before you place your headquarters that you actually hit tab and see what kind of natural resources are in the area that you're trying to plot your headquarters in, because I started here. Also, there's a hitching that is really grinding my gears right now, and I hope it goes away soon after the map loads. I planted my headquarters here. As you can see, there's absolutely no fucking resources. You got coal here, you got iron here, and then you have oil and gas. Make sure you plant somewhere that you can utilize those resources. Obviously, I destroyed this guy, but I'm gonna get to it in a second. But it's very imperative if you want to create a huge chain without having to outbid your competition and actually taking over their plant, their whole plot of land here that they can build on, or if you don't want to purchase building permits, which, embarrassingly enough, I still haven't figured out how to do it. So, this was my area, and you're playing against bots. As you can see, there's only one bot. You can choose to have many bots or one bot, and the object of the game is to actually purchase them off of the map. Now, if you play on high difficulty, they can do the same with your company. They can actually buy shares and eliminate you from the map. So, gotta be careful if you play on high difficulty. I've started playing on the easiest difficulty because, again, I suck at these games. So, when you start the game, there's not much. There's none of this. It's just your city, and then your headquarters, and then you start playing. So I'm gonna start it on 1 speed, even though there's gonna be a lot of alerts right now playing. So bear with me. You have a certain way of starting the game off. So obviously you're gonna be. First thing you're going to be doing is, let's pause, you're going to be opening up the tech tree. The tech tree is what's going to be unlocking every single thing that you're going to need to play the game. Now, I highly recommend that the first thing you invest in is, let's see, this thing right here. Urban roads. The dirt roads are slow as fuck. The urban roads are a lot faster. And then eventually you're going to want to upgrade it to the 25% urban speed in order to have your trucks move a lot quicker. Now, as you can see, there's a line here, and this has to be unlocked first before you unlock this because it's a prerequisite. The game is nice enough that if you want to unlock something that is further down the tech tree, it will actually not block it and say you haven't met the prerequisites. It will start unlocking the previous technologies that you actually need in order to create that upgrade, which is pretty awesome. So when I clicked on the urban road speed upgrade, I saw, why am I doing one-way roads? I don't want to fucking bother with this, you know. Although this is going to be super useful once you create a whole fucking industry, unlike my peasantry that I have created. It's a really useful thing. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of categories. You have produce, livestock, drinks. It gets very, very complicated. Extremely complicated. It is unbelievably complicated. I cannot stress that enough. And you have carpentry. You can actually, eventually create furniture. You can go into automotion and create vehicles or parts for them. Now it says requirements is going to be the engine and that leaf thing. I have no idea what that is. Textile, you can do clothes. It's crazy. Now, all of these things that you're going to be creating, you can sell. And where do you sell them? Perfect. In your town, you're going to have a bunch of shops. You start out with 2, and then as you upgrade, you choose more stores and more varieties that you want to add to your town. It's important that you choose whichever one your base infrastructure is going to be built for. So if you're going for food industry and everything, you're going to have to focus on shops that actually require you to sell them food. So this one, for example, they need chocolate bars, they need canned fish, they need olive oil, they need yeast and all that. I had other options that needed clothes and everything. I chose this one because I had already planted down a brewery that made yeast. Disable that. And then I have a tech tree for olives. Yeah, I have a olive orchid here, which is pretty awesome, and it sells them that. The beginning shop was the, where is it? Fish store. Okay, well, farmer's market. They want fish, they want olives, they want oranges, potatoes, and so forth. These are really simple to make, and you're going to have no trouble doing that. Now, as you progress and you increase your industry line, your town is going to be ready for an upgrade. There's going to be a couple of missions that you have to fulfill, and those are going to be producing something in order to send it to the town to upgrade. Alternatively, what you can do is skip that and pay for it. Now, money is not going to be a massive issue, because once you realize that all you really have to do is create things and send them to be sold, then your profit, your balance is going to be pretty high up there, and you're not going to have any problems. What I eventually did was I was hemorrhaging money because I kept building and building, and I had the wrong stuff built, and my balance was on the red on my revenue. So what I actually did was I planted down a bunch of stuff that I can actually sell to my own stores first, and anything I couldn't sell, I would actually send it to the state, or you can choose to send it to a different town in order to be sold there. You're not going to make as much money as you would selling your stuff in your own country, but it's better than having it just sit there and not do anything. Now, this tells me that warehouse 4 is full on paper roll. We are going to send this to the state. As you can see, the trucks are leaving and they're headed to the state. This is my revenue, and this is my gross, and this is my revenue. It's very complicated in the beginning, right? And I realized I was playing the game incorrectly because this was my first plot. As you can see, there's a lot of roads, there's a lot of warehouses. That is really not the way to play the game. What I actually did was I glanced over my AI opponent, and he has a warehouse here, and he has built everything around the warehouse. That's genius. I should have done that. I was like, why have I not done that? And that's what I did. This is my second plot right here. This is my warehouse, and I tried to build around it. Now, one thing I realized really quickly when I did this was water is a gold mine. You need water for everything. You cannot do anything without water in this game. So make sure that if you see your chicken farms or your wheat fields or your orchids and everything are not producing anything, it is most likely because they don't have any water. So address that as soon as possible. Here's my cotton. I was actually preparing to make some stuff, and I don't even remember what I was trying to make. Let's see. Paper. We need to send more to the state because, Jesus Christ, that is a lot of paper that I have. Wow. Now, the objective of the game is for you to increase your income, your total balance of money, and buy out your competition. As you can see, these guys are over here. The service works, and they're actually losing money right now. So each share is increasing in value as you purchase them. So now the next one is going to cost me $3.19. Technically, what I can just do is relax, sit back, and let my revenue increase. Since the AI cannot buy me out, I can just fast forward and watch my income go high, and then just buy them out. So that's not going to be a problem. This is the AI that I decided to purchase because they seemed like the most profitable one, but ever since I bought them, I've actually been hemorrhaging money. So I don't know how they were the most profitable ones, but let's see. Destination is full, so what we're gonna do is send this to the state and sell it, because who gives a fuck? Right, so there's multiple ways of sending stuff where it has to go. You can actually just let it be done automatically. That is not, I have not found that to be very helpful, because the AI is not always the smartest. So if you click on the storage on the item that you want to send, you can actually choose where to send it. So let's say I want to send it to the crop farm, the livestock farm, whatever I want to send it. Anything that I can send it to is going to be blue. Now, worst case scenario, if I cannot send it anywhere, guess what? I can send it to construction goods. No? Can I not? Oh, I guess I cannot. Let's see. I want to send it to the warehouse because this is full, and then the warehouse can decide what it wants to do with it later. That is the very basics of the game. Obviously, as you can see, it gets really intense. You can... I haven't put a sand collector down for some reason. I don't know why the AI has. Good for them. I tried to do a coal mine, but I wasn't able to reach the coal right here because I needed a permit. And then I realized after purchasing this guy, neither can... like, there's no resources here. I should have just gone for this guy, because then I would have been able to plot on the coal. But that was in the beginning when I had no idea how to play the game. So eventually you're going to be able to buy building permits in order to build in another plot. It's going to be later down the game though. So the problem was that for my upgrade, the game needed me to build something that required concrete and copper. And I obviously cannot mine copper right here. So that was a big problem, because here's the copper. None of us can. That was just a downside. But one thing I want to mention real quick is that the game only lets you rotate in 4 ways. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't let you rotate however you want. I understand the limitation behind that because it's a blocky kind of design, so it wouldn't look too pretty, but I'd still like the option of doing it however I want to. It's kind of a limitation there, but that's what the game's about. So you can bid here, contract auction, deliver 29 wool to Springboro. I can bid on that and actually be assigned the mission to deliver the wool. I don't have the capacity to build that yet, so I'm actually not going to worry about that for now. But what I could do... wow, I made 1 million last month. That is insane. What I could do is just fast forward it 10 times and eventually have enough money to buy this guy out and pretty much win the game. So that is the mission. If you like a immensely large chain of production, this is the game for you. It absolutely is. It's incredibly complex. It's incredibly not complicated, but also very in-depth. I do appreciate the amount of thought that they've put into it, and the amount of buildings that you can create here. I haven't even scratched the surface as far as the chain that you can do. So you can actually even do bridges, tunnels, and everything, and you can build train tracks in order to do long distance stuff. So if I wanted to mine this coal here, what I would actually do is build train tracks and then bring the coal back to my warehouse here, or maybe this one. It doesn't matter. I can take it whatever. I can take it here. And holy shit, this guy had problems. So that just means that the destination storage is full. Nope, autosaving. Well, now that the autosave took place, let's look at Criticized World, because Critical World was this one, and Criticized World is when the criticism has taken place. It is 2130, and boy are we in a fucking pickle. So as far as DLC is concerned, this has had an immense amount of thought put out to it. This is the aftermath of your thirst of trying to manufacture and destroy the planet. This is the end. Now everything is different here. You look at the tech tree, everything is different. You have medical, you got polymers, and then you have microbial culture, and eventually you're going to be able to pretty much regrow humans at some point. So this is what you got. Food processing, you basically just eat algae. Sorry. You mine minerals in order to sell them. And that's pretty much the surface of the game. It is very, very different. But the base concept is still the same. So everything is polluted, and for some businesses, like let's say the farms, you have to actually build an air purifier to get rid of the pollution. Same with this. However, with the polymer gatherer, it actually needs the pollution. So if you put an air purifier here, this is not going to work. It's going to say lack of pollution. These are your warehouses, and these are your roads. They're actually a little bit more futuristic than the base game. And this is your town. If you click your town, you can see what kind of shops you have here. And everyone in the reviews, anyone talking about this game, even the developers themselves, they said that this is a lot more difficult than the actual base game. I slightly beg to differ, because as soon as I started this game, I plotted down some thorium mines, some titanium mines, and some more of those. Eventually I unlocked the ruin scavenger, which these are all ruins, and the scavenger will scavenge them for steel and everything. All I had to do after that is send my my mine stuff onto the shops to sell them, and I was immediately profitable. My main mistake that I made in the base game is that I went completely insanely ham with the tech tree. I was just all over the place, no structure, trying to discover as many things as I could. Didn't really make sense. By the way, if you don't pause the game and you go on the tech tree, it's still continuing. So if you actually want to pause the game before you go into the tech tree. As you can see here, this progresses. And I think it's also in the menu that the game progresses. No, never mind. The menu is fine. But it's completely different. You have a whole set of reskinned stuff that you need to do. You still have the AI pinned against you. You have to eventually buy them out so you can win them. As you can see, I'm kind of slowly starting to do that with these guys. This one's a little bit more advanced. They're a little bit more powerful than I am, but all I can do, since I'm profitable now, I can just keep going. Now, granted, this is the easiest difficulty of the game, so there's not going to be any spikes increasing or any catastrophes and all that stuff that you have to worry about. So it's not fair to say that the game is easy. I'm not going to say that the game is easy. I'm just going to say that eventually you can get to a point where you can just sit back and relax if you don't have to worry about the AI purchasing you out and beat them that way. So take that as you may. You do have options before you start the game as far as how many rivers are there, how many sources of materials are there, how many materials are in those sources. So smog storms, that's interesting. How many, if they're unlimited resources or they're limited. Obviously this would be limited in if you set it as limited, and so would these guys here. So keep that in mind. On the easiest difficulty, it's not very challenging, so I would probably skip the easiest difficulty unless you're actually trying to reach the highest chain of production possible, the fastest way possible. So even then, though, it is extremely challenging, so keep that in mind. If you want a little bit more challenge, you can add more AI. Now, the problem with selecting how much AI you want is the only options are none, few, medium, and many, I believe. That doesn't actually tell me how much AI there will be. On a medium map, which is this size, if you hit few, it's going to be 3 AI. So keep that in mind. Smog storms, pollution rate 100%, and all buildings efficiency is going to be at 50%. That's why everything is here is 50% efficiency. So, Rise of Industry. That's pretty much it with Rise of Industry. It is developed by Dapper Penguin Studios and published by Casito Games. It was initially released on May 2nd, 2019, 2 days before my birthday, May 4th. And then the DLC 2130 was released on October 24th, 2019. I like it. I really like the game. Now, it is very complicated, but with a little bit of practice and patience, I think that it's definitely worth it. The game retails for $29.99 or your equivalent regional amount. And the DLC is $10. For $10, I think that it balances itself out. So it has $10 worth of extra game on top of the base game. And everything is different. Nothing is the same, essentially. The concept is the same, but the resources and the chain and everything, it's all different. So I think $10 in comparison to the base game, it's fair. It absolutely is fair. And the base game of $30, it'll keep you busy. It kept me busy. It's one of those games where you start the game and you look outside and it's actually nighttime. And it was daytime when you started playing the game. So there you have it, guys. I hope this has been helpful. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.